Yes, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Dose podcast. Today, we have yet another very special guest on the show. This guy is one of the best battlers out of the New England scene, in my opinion. He's been smashing it for a while now and has recently got himself quite a few big name battles along the way, too. Memo, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you very much for taking the time to come on, man. I appreciate it. But
Of
jumping
course.
straight into it with yourself, like, how was it that you got into battle rap from the beginning, personally?
So I used to record music, and I grew up in Vermont. It's kind of a small hip hop community, Burlington, Vermont. In college and high school, I was always freestyling at parties, and everyone's like, "You got to start making music." So I put out a mixtape with my buddy Pat, and we went by the name of 8 a.m. We actually have our album on Spotify. I always tell people it's still it's pretty timeless. I think it's still pretty good quality stuff, even 10 years later or so now. But check it out. But anyways, we put the album out. We did some shows, and I started doing these freestyle battles in up in Burlington called King of Vermont. And there's this dude Lyric who was basically just known as the best freestyler in Burlington, and he was pretty much no one could beat him. And the first couple ones that I entered. I got pretty far in the tournament. I think I got to the finals, like my second one against Lyric. He beat me. And then I ended up doing them for about 2 years, and I ended up winning 5 of them. It's like, kind of 16 MCs usually, kind of like a bracket format where you win in advance. And it's basically just, freestyle over beats that they put on stage. And I was really, always good at freestyling, so I killed it with that. And then I got a job in Boston, and ended up moving my whole life from Vermont, and took a little, there's a little downtime in between where I kind of was sort of waiting to find my niche in Boston, how I could get involved. And I was invited to do a tryout battle at 413 Battle League, which is, now my home league. Lyric, actually, the dude who I was battling against a lot in Burlington, him and my buddy Full Effect had both battled at 413 multiple times, so they got me a tryout battle. Killed it at the tryout battle. The next card I was put on was their Super Bowl event, which was their biggest event. I battled this dude Castro Crimes. Looking back, I think that I kind of sucked in that battle, but I still, it was enough for them to believe in me, and they kept feeding me plates. The next thing you know, I've battled in almost every league in New England, been to Canada a couple times now. Like you said, I've had some pretty good names on my resume, so it all kind of happened. So I've been battling about 5 years now, and I love it. I think this downtime was much needed because, as you know, I think battle rapping is, you've probably heard from other MCs, but it's pretty tiring, exhausting mentally, So I do plan on, eventually heading back, but I'm in no rush. I've been doing these, internet battles and stuff right now over beats, which I'm loving. So, but that's kind of how I got where I am.
Nice, man. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with, I've listened to some of the Wrap It Up album by, yourself as 8 a.m. and it's really good. I enjoyed it, man. So everyone should
Thanks, man. I
definitely
appreciate
check
that.
that out. And it's been it's been interesting with yourself. I mean, you've kind of battled across quite a few platforms now, as you said. You've been doing a lot with 413 Battle League, which I mean, it's kind of the biggest league in the New England area. Is that safe to say?
I think historically, yeah. I think now you could argue that leagues like Premier and ECCM, which just became No Coast New England, are right up there for sure. But I think 413, they were definitely the original big league in New England. They've had some huge events. They had Daylight and Lavos. They did Chilla Jones versus Thesaurus, which was an amazing battle. I mean, they've obviously, they put their local talent against big names too, but they've also just put on some huge matches for the culture over the years. And If you ask anyone around, man, they have some of the best events. The room is always packed, and it's like a family there. I love it. It's good people. Always a good time. So definitely have nothing but great things to say about 413.
Nice. Yeah, man. I've been a fan for a while too, and obviously big, like huge matchups for local MCs too, like the E Farrell and Jeffrey 2-on-2 with DNA and K Shine was great. And
Yep. Yeah, that was actually the match, like I said, that I got my first actual battle after the tryout was that card when I battled Castro. It was the second battle that night, and the headlining battle was Jeff and Farrell versus NWX. It was a pretty hilarious battle. It was great.
definitely, yeah, man, it's a great league, and like you've kind of stuck to the local leagues in that sense. Like you've been on iBattle and things like that too. But is there is there anywhere that you're kind of interested in going at any point soon? Any leagues that you've not appeared on yet?
Honestly, man, I mean, I would love to battle at No Coast. I definitely, would be down to battle at iBattle again at some point if Lex is willing to have me. We've kind of stayed in touch over the years. Just kind of hasn't worked out, but there's definitely quite a few leagues out there I'd love to battle on. But where I'm at now, I'm pretty comfortable with. 413 is still trying to help me grow, and they get me big names, and then a combination of that and battling local guys in these other leagues, and then obviously trying to make a push on the GZ circuit as well. Unfortunately, I was actually supposed to battle Versatai on Chilla's GZ card the weekend that this kind of hit the U.S. It was pretty horrible timing. It was like pretty much the battle was March 9th, and I think it was like that week, March 5th or 6th, that they were like, all right, everyone's got to stay home. Events are shut off. We still considered having the event, but it wasn't really fair for people like Versatai and all the people who were about to travel to sort of risk them and their family to do it. So we chose to push the event, which was kind of a momentum killer. I had some great stuff for Verse and was hoping to reschedule that battle, and I believe I saw recently that he's stepping down for a while and taking a break. So it's all right. It's part of the game in battle rap. I'll probably end up scrapping some of the material or holding on to it in case he decides to come back. But for every opportunity that falls through, there always seems to be one that's around the corner. So yeah, man, that's where I'm at now, and hope things keep moving forward here soon.
Definitely, yeah, man. It's a shame the Versatile battle would have been really good to see, but I'm pretty confident that you'll appear on GZ or King of the Dot at some point soon. But like with yourself, out of the battles that you've done now, what kind of stands out for you as your kind of personal favorite battle of yours?
It's a tough question. I mean, I think, obviously these days I obviously show people the Carter battle just because, I mean, he's so amazing. It's actually a good way for people that don't, understand battle rap or aren't into it. That's a battle I'll show them first just because Carter just is so unique in his own. And I think, I overall had a good performance. It isn't my favorite material I ever had. But I think it was good enough where it's a great battle to show people. And I held my own against, a dude that a lot of people consider one of the best ever. But besides that one, I love CJA, especially because I battled him a few years ago when he was just kind of coming up. And he's still, he killed it. He was still great then, but he's so good now. And for me to beat him, pretty much most people say I definitely beat him in that battle, which is pretty cool because he's pretty hard to beat these days. So that was one of my best performances. Had great rebuttals in that one. I love the row battle. I think it's a great, honestly, some of my favorite battles are obviously the ones where I didn't necessarily win, right? The ones that are debatable, that were just straight up, battles. So I'd say probably Roe, CJA, and Carter are my three favorite. And then, Black Academics is great. Unfortunately, my other two GZs in Canada, I kind of got weird crowds, both kind of on the quieter side both times. So I don't love those battles. I won against Prehistoric in Ottawa and then Creative in Vancouver. I think they're okay battles, but they weren't my best. I definitely still encourage people to check them out. But yeah, I'd say Roe, Carter, Black Academic, CJA, and then maybe it's actually one of my lowest viewed battles, but I love what I did against Jay Walker. Unfortunately, he didn't really show up, but it's one of the original ECCM battles, and I love that battle as well. So I have some good ones in there. Uno's good. I like to think they're all pretty good in their own way.
Definitely. Yeah, man, I agree. And like with myself, the first battle that I saw of yours was the Jack Casserole battle.
Oh yeah, it's a good one too. It's great.
Yeah, and kind of anything that happened before that, so like the Louis Valentine and the Full Effect battles, things like that, where I had to go back and watch kind of after seeing the Jack battle. But since then, like it kind of seems like since the Jack Casserole battle onwards, you've really kind of found yourself in battling. Like every battle since that point has been really strong on your part, and it's been fun to
Appreciate it,
watch,
man.
man. But
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, it's you got to kind of find your identity in this sport. It's totally different than battling on a beat. I've always had a pretty good mix of kind of humor and punches, which always worked as a recording artist. But then, I think when I first started battling, it took me a little while to find that sweet spot of being able to do both. My first couple battles, I tried to be, nothing but jokes and funny. Then I tried to kind of mix in some of the aggression, and I almost got too aggressive there for a little while, I feel like, and forgot about what I do best, which is kind of the humor and breaking down my opponents. And now, I like to think I've kind of found a good sweet spot of being able to kind of do all the things I do well, and put it all together in one performance. So
definitely, yeah, man. And is there anybody that you particularly want to battle at any point in the near future? Like, is there any kind of goals opponent wise that you have?
Not especially. Obviously Carter was the one for a while, and I got that. So I could retire now and be a happy man. I have a pretty sick resume considering I've only been battling 4 or 5 years. But as long as it makes sense, and I think for the most part, Jeff has always been cool with me. He's one of the first people I met in battle rap, but I've always thought him and I would make for a pretty good matchup. Same with Farrell. But those guys, they don't really battle much. So as far as active rappers, I thought Versatile was a good style clash. I actually kind of Chilla sort of asked me who I wanted to battle, and he reached out to him, and he was into that. So I'm definitely upset that one didn't go through, but I'm open to whoever, man, whoever they throw at me, as long as the way I see it is on a local level. If it's someone that isn't really going to kind of boost my stock, then I like to try to get somewhat of a fee to make it worth my time. And if not, I'm down to take anyone that's going to help me get my name out there. So, yeah, I'm kind of stalling on actual names right now, but I'm open for anyone in that kind of the category of kind of witty, funny dudes that like to put on the show.
Sure, no, that makes sense, man. And it's a refreshing attitude as well. I mean, you find a lot of battlers will only battle certain names and stuff, so it's good to hear that you're kind of open to anyone in that regard. But exciting times as well, especially with you work quite heavily with ECCM, which is now No Coast New England, so that kind of opens up a lot more great matchup possibilities for you as well, right?
For sure. Actually, that brings up one name that has definitely been on my list that I've actually been trying to put together with Blaze at ECCM for a while, which is XQZ. He's, in my opinion, one of the most underrated battlers of all time. I actually put him in the same category as guys like Carter and Laughingstock. He just, for whatever reason, has always kind of stayed in his no coast niche and never really blew up on a national level. But I think obviously his battle with Red Flag was the beginning of what I think is going to be a pretty great career for him. He's very talented, super witty at breaking his opponents down. So I've always thought him and I would make for a great battle on ECCM or No Coast. So hopefully this year at some point, or maybe next year once things calm down, hopefully you'll see MEMO XQZ on No Coast, New England.
I'd love to see that, man. Yeah, and I completely agree. He's extremely talented, and I mean, just to have gone through such a long stint of being No Coast champ and not really ever coming up against a challenge along the way either. Like he was amazing. So I'd love to see that battle. That'd be great. But yeah, and with No Coast New England as well, like they're one of the first leagues to kind of start throwing live battles again, which has been really good to see. So it'll be very interesting to see who we can get you matched up against there.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm always in contact with Blaze, and when the time's right, I'm down. I'm still trying to not rush it. I think that it's cool what they're doing, but they're getting 8 to 10 people out in the parking lot or whatever, and I'd be down to do that. But just having a kid and wife at home and everything, I'm trying to wait till this shit's fully clear before I get back out there.
Yeah, of course, I understand that, man. But is there any battles of yours that you're not a big fan of, like ones that you don't tend to watch back?
Of mine?
Yeah, so like any of the earlier battles or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really watch back any of my earlier battles at this point, but I would say ones that I mean, honestly, my most recent battle, I don't know if you saw it, it was Gutta against iGrind. Against Gutta on iGrind. The main reason I even took that battle is because Gutta and I kind of had some history. We were kind of talking our shit online for a little while. There was this thing where I said this bar against who was it? Academic. No, it was against T Sawyer at 413, and Gutta basically said something that night like it was his bar, and I stole it from him. So it turned into this whole thing where we were kind of trolling each other online. So there was history in us doing that battle, but if you watch it back, I mean, our styles really had no right going against each other. It just, I mean, in my opinion, it's not a horrible style clash, but I also kind of had a pretty bad choke in the beginning, which I haven't really done much in my career. So that battle's kind of hard for me to watch back. When it dropped, I watched it like once or twice, and I haven't really watched it since. Like I said, my last two GZs, unfortunately, is as much as I felt like I, was prepared and did what I do. They were both very kind of quiet crowds that night. Not even just for me. I don't take it to heart. Van City always has an awesome crowd, and they put the event on the same night as like a UFC fight, and it was pretty much like half as full as it usually is. And I was one of the first couple battles, so it was super quiet. So, you got to have the right energy in a battle for it to have replay value. And unfortunately, if the crowd's not there, it can kind of kill the whole battle. So I'd say, yeah, my last two GZs, my Gutta battle are definitely not some of my favorites. But besides that, I think most of my other battles along the way are all, worth rewatching.
Definitely. Yeah, man. And I think the creative one was, I remember seeing that and thinking that I thought you were really good in it. I just don't think creative really, I don't think he prepared as much as he needed to for that battle, which kind of took away from it a bit, in my opinion. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it just wasn't. It was definitely frustrating because I live in Boston and Vancouver's 3,000 miles away or something. So I mean, it was still an awesome little trip. I got to meet the whole Van City crew, which I always wanted to do. I went with 3SK, actually. He was one of my good buddies. He flew with me to support me, which was awesome. And we had, an awesome weekend in Vancouver. So I definitely have no regrets, but it does suck that I flew all the way out there and, the battle didn't quite live up to what I imagined. But it happens, man. It's part of battle rap. It's
definitely, yeah.
Like I said, it always seems like right when you have the most, progression and momentum leaning your way, something happens. There's a roadblock that sets you back, and you just got to get back up from it and keep pushing. So it's part of the game.
Of course, yeah. And I mean, like you said, just getting the opportunity to go out to Vancouver is, it's an amazing experience, and their events look super fun too.
Yeah, man, they're all great people for sure.
Nice,
So no, definitely cool.
amazing. But yeah, and like in terms of the local scene for yourself, then like was it easy to get involved in from the start? Like, did you struggle to get a tryout for a while, or was it just literally asking for a tryout and getting it straight away?
So 413 has always been really good about tryouts. They're pretty open to allowing anyone to at least try out. As long as you have somewhat of a hip hop history and have something on camera to show them and show that you have some skills. So wasn't too hard. And like I said, I knew a couple people from Vermont who were already doing pretty well in the league. So they basically, sent them some links to my freestyle battles and some of my music, and they were like, absolutely, yeah, have them down. So when I did my tryout battle, I was still living in Vermont. And, everyone there, I got a lot of love that night, killed it. And like I said, the next card was Super Bowl. So it all happened pretty quick. But even from there, I'd say my first, year or two on the scene was a lot slower than like you said. I think you're right about, Jack Casserole kind of being right where I really started to get my confidence and take off, So it took a little while, but once I hit my stride, it's been smooth sailing. So it's been awesome.
Nice. And like, what's your kind of preference with battle rap then? Do you prefer kind of a staged battle, or do you prefer a battle in the pit, or what do you prefer personally?
Um, Yeah, I mean, the pit's always pretty badass, because I like to think I'm pretty good at kind of doing a good combination of rapping at my opponent and the crowd and the camera, which is really important in battle rap, So I'm pretty good at adapting to the room. Um, Pit is cool. 413 is kind of like pit style, but a stage also. You're kind of like on a stage in the back of the room, but everyone still kind of crowds around you to sort of give it that pit feel. So I definitely like that. I mean, I'm down to battle wherever, man. I actually, love the whole ruin your day concept as well. I would love to do just like a random, small gathering battle in like a cool location at some point. So I'm open for whatever.
Nice. Yeah, man, I agree. Yeah, the ruin your day battles have been really entertaining, to be fair, and I know they've got some big plans with it as well. I know that Avocado wants to do like a battle on I think it was on a volcano in Iceland and things
That's
like
awesome.
that. So
I mean, there's no better time than now for a format like that, where you can't really have big crowds. So, for a little while, that could be the future of battle rap. Just kind of having the two opponents meet up in a, random location with a cool view and duking it out. So, yeah, I
definitely.
mean, one of my favorites is definitely LNS versus the Saurus and the hot air balloon. That was pretty epic.
Yeah, amazing, man. I love that battle too. But yeah, it'd be good to see you on there. I think Pigsty is running that side of things to ruin your day now. So it's
Oh
definitely
yes,
worth getting in touch with him and trying to get that booked. But
will do, man. I'm a big fan of his.
nice. Yeah, me too. And yeah, I mean, like in terms of the music side of things for you, then is that something that you're still doing, or is that kind of taken a back seat now?
Um, so yeah, kind of along with the Versatile battle being postponed, um, I actually work my partner that I rap with, Pat. Him and I actually worked together, and we were actually about to take a business trip to LA. Like also that same week, I think it was about a week before the Versatile battle was canceled. The weekend before, um, and we booked studio time at a sick studio out in LA of someone that he knew through a friend. And we were going to record. We had a 3-hour block, and we had about 5 songs ready to record. We were going to put out a new EP, which is a huge bummer because I obviously, I haven't recorded music in 10 years. And it's really good. It's definitely, in my opinion, like, you know, probably our best work yet. But now since this happened, we haven't really been able to get back together. We've been talking about booking it somewhere around here locally instead, which kind of sucks because the studio we were going to record at was like supposedly like the guy has like, you know, a top notch like microphone and studio and full setup. So, you know, hopefully we'll do it here soon. Pat's having his first kid here in the next couple of weeks, so that's going to obviously set him back for a while. So, so it kind of sucks, but you know, like I mentioned in the beginning, and like I don't know if you've seen if you follow me at all, but I've been doing a lot of these kind of video battles and entries where basically you know you get a beat and you write 50 bars and different things like that. So I've been staying busy and you know keeping my pen sharp over a beat, and I'm loving it, man, because for basically the past, you know, 5 or 6 years since I got so into battle rap, I pretty much stopped, you know, writing over beats. I was just doing the acapella thing, and that's my roots. So I would love to get back into it. Hopefully sooner than later. Just got to wait till I can find studio time and get everything together. So I would say by the end of the year, expect, you know, at least the group project with me and Pat, and hopefully some solo stuff as well.
That would be great to see. And yeah, one of my main aims from this show really is to kind of push battlers' music a lot more. I feel like there's so many battlers now that make great music, and it often gets overlooked. I don't think battle fans really check the music side of things enough. So any projects that you do have in pipeline, make sure you keep me in the loop, and I'm be good to promote them for you. But yeah, some more music would definitely be good to see. And like, did you do many kind of shows back in the day with the music then? And do you ever get to perform in front of like big crowds or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, mainly in Burlington. I did a few shows in Boston. My wife actually, it was in one of the biggest hip hop groups in New England. Actually, they were voted best hip hop group in Vermont 5 straight years in 7 days, which is like, you know, the biggest newspaper. She was in a 5-piece kind of funk hip hop group. They play with a live band a lot called Linguistic Civilians. And so I actually used to like kind of, that's how I met her, is through the hip hop scene. We were doing shows together. So I'd actually open up for her a lot. But yeah, I mean, you know, I did some pretty big names opening up for her group. Keith Murray, actually opened up for Keith Murray twice in Burlington. Did a couple shows with EMC, which is Master Ace's group, Punchline, Wordsworth, Strickland. Let's see, who else? Yeah, Lyrics Born. You know, some pretty decent names for sure. And you know, I never had like a huge set. I would do like 4 or 5 songs solo, and then me and Pat probably did about a dozen shows around the Burlington scene as well. So I'd say overall, you know, probably 20 to 25 actual shows I did, and then countless times of just kind of hopping on stage and jumping into a freestyle or something, you know, with the civilians and random groups in Burlington. So, but I miss that, man. I miss, it's a different vibe, you know. Battle rap's awesome, but it's, you know, you're standing there kind of rapping in front of a silent room. When you're performing live music, the whole crowd's vibing to it and you know, bouncing up and down and really kind of feeling what you're putting out there. So I would definitely love to get back into that, especially once I put some new music out.
Nice. Yeah, definitely, man. And it's very cool to hear that you met your partner through hip hop, essentially. That's really cool to hear. You don't hear that very often. So
yeah, it's a pretty cool story. You know, most battle rappers give you shit for it. They're like, "Oh, your wife raps like this and that." I'm like, "Yeah, well, she could rap circles around you. She's really good. Check them out. Linguistic Civilians. They're super dope. They kind of have like a Jurassic 5 type feel to them." So.
Nice. Yeah, I've just written that down. I'm going to check that out straight after this. But yeah, that's a really cool story, man. I like that. And like, is there? Would you? So you're the guy that you were making music with 8 a.m. Then he doesn't battle. Is that correct?
He does not battle. No, he actually did. He has 2 battles. When I was still in Vermont, so actually the full effect battle that you saw, and then I battled Pillsbred. That was kind of right around the time. That was like probably my third and fourth battle. That was right around the time that I was still like in Vermont transitioning to Boston. And he took 2 battles there. He battled E-City actually for his first ever battle. So he went by Pat Riot. So he has Pat Riot versus E-City, and then he battled this dude DP, who's actually really dope, both on 802 Battle League. And he was pretty good. It's not necessarily, as much his thing as it was mine. If you listen to our music, he's the one that sings. He's kind of more into, he's a dope MC too, don't get me wrong, but he's more into kind of the hooks and has almost kind of like a hip hop / R&B-ish kind of vibe. He's really good with the hooks, super clever, great voice. So battle rap was never really his thing, but he's a huge supporter of mine. And, we've been trying to put a new album out forever. It's just, battle rap takes a lot of time, man, and I've been kind of trying to work my way up so hard that just any free time I have away from, my full-time job and my kid, I'm spending writing and rehearsing battle raps. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, I'll have to check Pat Riot's battles out as well. I've not seen him before, I don't think, but stepping up against someone like, do you say E-City battled?
Yeah, E-City was his first battle, and he actually held his own. Granted, it was in Vermont, so it's probably a little biased, but some people said, he won. E-City had a little bit of a choke, so Pat was clean. Battle rap's obviously, it's all preference, so it is what it is, but he definitely held his own. And then DP is also no slouch, and he held his own against DP as well, so he killed it. He's been considering, taking another one along the way. But just hasn't really happened since then.
Okay, nice. And yeah, coming up against someone like E-City for your first ever battle is very commendable as well. So fair play on that front. But yeah. And in terms of like yourself, I've noticed, like you said, you've been doing a lot of online like battles and things. I saw you posted a couple of like the legitimate target tracks in the Irish battle rap forum, which I thought were really good and stuff. But have you got anything else in the pipeline at the moment? Anything else you're working on?
Yeah, so I did that was the first one I did. I did the Rap is Full legitimate target. I think I just did the first week, but I'm pretty sure they gave me second place, which was pretty cool. It was either second or third. I know it was top 3. And then I did Static Selective's crew was doing this 50-bar challenge thing. I did a few of those. And I got a lot of love on them. I didn't win or anything, but those were just basically, over his beats where you write 50 plus bars and submit it, and the top 10 make it onto a show. A lot of people are saying I should have been top 10 on 1 or 2 of them, but either way, I mainly are doing these for fun anyways and to get my name out. I also did, let's see. Oh, I'm in a Capital Rap Battles out of Ottawa is doing a tournament right now. It started with 62 MCs. It's called the Cold Vid 16. And basically, you just write a 16 over a beat that they send you. And right now I'm in the final 16 actually out of 62. So I'm in the 3rd round. And the dude I'm going against is named MEMO also. His name's like Memo Marino or something. He's a Canadian guy. So it's MEMO versus MEMO. So that's actually dropping Sunday. Or I don't know if it's dropping Sunday. It's due by Sunday. So I'm hoping to record that the next day or 2. I got some pretty good bars for that. And then I just did this competition in this 16 Bars of Death group, which I believe is also based out of Canada. And there were 16 submissions in that. And that was basically you choose from 5 different producers' beats. And you have 5 days to write and record a song and film a video basically with one take from your phone. And I don't know if you saw that. I posted it on my page, but I did kind of like a little quarantine jingle. And I got second place out of 16. So I won, like $80 or something, but still, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to get my name out there. And I think I gained a lot of new fans from doing that one. So it's pretty cool. I'm having fun with it, man. It's no pressure. It's basically I'm at home anyways, and I got some downtime to write, and I love writing. And like I said, no battles lined up, so might as well just keep doing these little challenges. I'm enjoying it for now.
Nice, yeah, man, and it's it's a good way to stay busy and keeps people entertained in these boring times as well. So
For
yeah, it's
sure.
been fun to see. I did see the post you mentioned there, and I didn't realise you only had a couple of days to get that done as well. That's pretty cool. But
Yeah, it sucks I didn't have a little longer because I feel like it has potential to, like, maybe even go viral. The quarantine track. It was due that day, so we took a few takes. But I was talking with my buddy, who's actually a pretty big video editor in New York, and he's like, "Yeah, man, if we did that right and we really got like a professional recording and everything, he's like, that shit could go far." So I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. It's
sure.
also a little bit kind of people I feel like aren't really trying to hear about the quarantine right now. They're trying to forget about it. So I might have missed my window there, but we'll see.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, I thought it was really good, man. I enjoyed it. But is
Thanks, man.
there, like, in terms of like battles that you've done so far, have you kind of had any bad experiences in terms of like travel to events being a nightmare or anything along those lines along the way?
Not really, man. It's all been pretty smooth. I mean, like I said, besides really iBattle and my GZs in Vancouver and Ottawa, I've really only just battled in New England. So all of these leagues, I mean, I'm out in Grafton, Mass now. I was pretty much right outside of Boston in Quincy when I first lived in the Boston area for a few years. So I've always been, less than 2 hour drive from all of these leagues. So it's always pretty smooth. Like I said, Vancouver was definitely a haul, but it was a smooth flight and no major issue. Copacetic picked us up at the airport. I think we took a cab back, but he was super accommodating. Hooked us up with some fresh ganj when we landed, and it was a great trip. And then Ottawa, I drove up with my wife and kid. I actually have some family up in that area anyway, so we stayed with them. So that was super smooth. So I've heard some nightmare stories from some battle rappers, but now I've had pretty good luck traveling.
Nice. Yeah, there's quite a few nightmare stories have come up along the way, and like, I'm always just interested to hear about that. But no, it sounds good. You've had a pretty easy ride so far, at least. But like the final battle rap related question, which most people have found the hardest question to answer, if I'm honest. But if you were promoting your own battle rap event and you had kind of unlimited funds to put the event together, who would you
Yep.
put on the card and like what battles do you want to see personally?
Ooh. Um, have XQZ and Dunch ever battled?
I don't think they have yet. No.
That's like a dream match for me. That would just be crazy.
Yeah, I like
Um,
that a lot.
I like to see that as maybe the title match. CJA is my homie. He's always sort of stuck with me. We both kind of came up around the same time, so I'd love to see him get a big name. He never really has. He's had a few sort of in the pipeline that kind of fell through, but he deserves a huge name. So I definitely have him up there. Um, maybe against who knows? Someone like Tay Rock or a heavy, punchline rapper. I think he could hold his own. He's got that energy. Um, I don't know if you're familiar with Bacon, but Bacon's my dude. He's 413. Um, love to see him against someone, um, a big name.
Yeah, agreed. I like Bacon a lot. I have had Bacon on the show, but we need to like finish off the episode. We had a couple of technical issues, but I'm
For sure. And then, there's quite a few other local rappers who I think haven't really been given a big shot who can hold their own. Um, Dudes like Johnny the Loner, he's my boy, he's nasty. Obviously, 3SK is a vet, but I definitely put 3SK on the card. Um, who else do I like? Young guys. I love JDY, man. I love his energy. JW. In New England, trying to think of some other heavy, up and comers that I'd put on the card. This dude Droop, I really like. Yeah, I don't know, man. Kind of blanking out right now, but definitely, most important thing is putting on, your scene. So I would definitely stack it with the New England vets and put them up against some worthy opponents.
Nice. No, I like it, man. It's a good tactic. And yeah, like two people that you've battled actually, but I've been saying to quite a few people now, like Bill Blaze and Matt McCann included in this. I really would like to see. I'd like to see Bacon battle Rowe.
Yeah, Bacon and Rowe would be really good. That's a great one. I would definitely put. Yeah,
I'd like to see that a lot. But yeah, apart from that, man, that's the battle rap questions kind of done with. But I've been finishing the episodes with a few kind of music related questions and then 3 random questions to finish up with. But if you had to pick your all-time top 3 favorite albums off the top of your head, what would you go with?
Ooh. Let's see. I mean, to be honest, like coming up, I can't not give credit to like Eminem, Slim Shady LP, and Marshall Mathers LP. I mean, they just had a huge influence on who I am as an MC. I mean, I bumped both those albums front to back just countless times for years. Those with probably Chronic 2001, obviously. And then I'm a big underground kind of hip hop junkie too. So like I love Cunning Linguist, Will Rap for Food is one of my favorite albums. Masta Ace, loved him. A Long Hot Summer and Disposable Arts, both classics. Little Brothers, one of my favorite groups ever. The Listening, The Minstrel Show, Chitlin Circuit. I know that's way more than 3. It's hard to narrow it down to 3. But like, Living Legends, Hieroglyphics, all that shit. I mean, that's like really what I listen to. And then I've always followed and listened to the mainstream stuff too, but those are the ones I just mentioned, probably like my top 5.
Nice. Yeah, it's a very good list to be fair, man. I like all those albums as well. And like, who would you say is the best live act that you've ever seen in terms of like shows that you've been to?
I mean, to be honest, man, in my opinion, like one of the best hip hop live acts ever is Meth and Red. I've seen them a couple times now, and they put on a crazy show. Like their energy is just unmatched. I mean, Wu-Tang's great, obviously. I saw Dilated Peoples and Little Brother, and that was crazy. Like Dilated with Babu on the beats in the background is insane live.
Nice.
Who else? I've seen so many shows, man. I'm kind of blanking out. I went to Rock the Bells as a teenager, and that was one of the craziest experiences ever. It was just like, I don't know if you're familiar with Rock the Bells, but they would do these festivals where like, I mean, they'd have 5 different stages at once. I think there was one point where we were watching Bone Thugs, and people were like, yo, Dipset's playing down the hill. So we like turned around and went down there, and like Cam and Jewels were like, 100 yards over the hill, like performing. I was like, who the hell do I watch right now? So, I mean, I love it all, man. I've seen a lot of great acts, but I'd say honestly for me, Meth and Red are like unmatched.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. To be fair, they do come up a lot as well. A lot of people mention them, so yeah, it's a good one. Sure. And then, is there any kind of lesser known musicians or rappers that you're a big fan of that, like myself or the UK listeners in particular, might not be aware of?
Well, hopefully, a lot of the ones I listed. If you don't listen to like Little Brother, you got to get into them. They're incredible. Love. I don't know if you're familiar with Binary Star. One Below is my favorite MC. He put out some solo stuff. He's from Michigan. He's crazy.
Okay.
Who else do I like? I don't know, man. I listen to it all. I don't know if you listen to RA. I assume most people are familiar with RA, but he just dropped the new album, RA the Rugged Man. He's always great.
Yeah, new album's crazy.
It's really good, yeah. But yeah, kind of blanking out, man. But yeah, I mean, everyone I mentioned earlier, for sure. If you haven't heard them, like Cunning Linguists, Living Legends, all their old shit is just awesome.
Nice.
I listen to a lot of West Coast shit, and I used to listen to J.U. Ice, your boy, Bishop Lamont, obviously Crooked Eye. So I love that shit too. But these days, man, honestly, I don't follow hip hop as much as I used to. I couldn't tell you a lot of like the new guys that are killing it. So
No,
kind of
that's
since I
fair
got
enough.
into battle rap, I've just been I mainly watch battle rap now and still bump the old classic hip hop shit.
Nice. Yeah, I like that, man. And yeah, the final three questions, as I said, they're very random. But are you a big sports fan, and do you have like favorite sports teams?
Yeah, for sure. Um, Football, basketball. I mean, mainly New England teams. Big Celtics fan. Sox fan. Let's see. I watch UFC. I root for Conor McGregor, just because he's just so fun to watch. Um, I pretty much watch all sports. Besides, I'm not gonna lie, like I like hockey. I don't follow it. Baseball, I watch the Sox in the playoffs, but not a ton. But mainly, football, basketball, and I love soccer as well. I grew up playing soccer, so I don't follow. I know that's obviously huge where you're at. I don't follow it like I used to. I don't know who's like killing it these days, but I know all the best clubs: Chelsea, Man U, Arsenal. So I still follow it a little bit. And like when World Cup comes on, it's probably my favorite sporting event ever is World Cup. So
Nice, nice, man. Yeah, I'm a little bit offended that you didn't mention Liverpool within those teams, to be
oh
honest.
fuck
But
Liverpool. Well, Liverpool, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they're my team. They've pretty much won the league over here this year for the first time since I've been alive. So it's an exciting time at the moment. But
That's awesome. Are they starting back up again soon? Soccer with like small crowds or whatever?
yeah, so German soccer has restarted with no crowds. Um, so they're playing like behind closed doors essentially, and then British soccer starts again, I think a week tomorrow. So
Awesome.
yeah, it'd be good
That's
to
pretty
see.
cool.
But
Yeah, check that.
nice. And if you could pick anywhere in the world for your next holiday or like trip abroad, where would you go?
Whew. Um, Honestly, man, maybe like Ireland and Scotland. It's like one area that I haven't been to.
Okay, nice.
I've I just I've been to I did a big trip with my wife to Europe a couple years ago, and we kind of like I had never really traveled abroad besides I'd been like Hawaii once and Jamaica, but yeah, so we covered a lot, man. I mean, we basically I booked it super far out, so it made the trip super affordable. Like we stayed at like HomeAways and Airbnbs, and we booked all the cheap airlines. But we did like Italy, Spain. We did it a couple nights in England, a couple nights in Paris. So we really covered a lot. So that was awesome. But one area we didn't get up to was like Ireland and Scotland. I always wish we kind of did. And I've just heard it's awesome up there. And just want to go up there and drink some good beer and I don't know. I mean, I want to see it all, obviously, but that's definitely one place that's high on the list.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good answer, man. It's like I think Ireland and Scotland get overlooked a lot as well. Most people tend to just go to London and that's about it. So it's definitely worth checking. But the
For sure.
the final one, which has brought up some good and some terrible answers along the way, but you can pick one sweet and one savoury, but what are the go-to snacks in your opinion?
Oof. Go-to snacks. Blanking out here. I'm honestly like the least picky person ever, man. Like I'll eat whatever's in the cabinets. I try to stay away from sweets, but I always end up finding something like late night, you know. But I'd say, you ever had those Tate's cookies?
No, I don't think so.
They come in like a little green bag, but they're like super thin and crispy. Holy
Okay.
shit, they're like the best like store-bought cookie you'll ever have. But they're expensive as shit, so I only buy those like when they're on sale, like $5 a bag for like 10 cookies or something.
Okay.
That might be my favorite sweet these days. Let's see, savory. I mean, I eat, usually whip out like around snack time, like chips and salsa or something. But I love salt and vinegar chips. I have like a obsession with salt and vinegar chips.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good shout, man. Do you know what? I didn't know that they were. I thought they were kind of a UK only thing. You don't see them many other places, so it's good to hear that you guys are
Oh yeah,
agree
for
on
sure.
that front. They're the best.
You
But
ever had pickle chips, like dill flavored chips?
yes, yeah, they're probably my favourite if I'm honest.
Oh really? Yeah, yeah. You don't see those around the U.S. like that often, but those are always pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, they're not something that we have over here, but we we recently had a brand open a load of shops in the UK, which is it's called Americandy. So
Yeah.
they kind of import loads of American food and like sweets and things like that, and they do dill and pickle flavored Pringles, and yeah, they're
Ooh.
my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. Pickles is definitely another one. Just in general, I love me a good pickle. Like, I like to buy like the good ones, like the one maybe pay a little bit more for like the local pickles, that are like have peppers and stuff in them. Love good pickles.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm a big fan as well. But apart from that, man, that's pretty much all the questions done with. But was there anything that you wanted to like plug or promote on the show or anything like that?
Um, Not really, man. Just follow me on Facebook. I'm always trying to drop something to keep the fans engaged. I've been pretty consistently, dropping a new video battle or one of these challenges at least every week or so since the quarantine. So I'm gonna keep doing that, and then hopefully, like I said, once this flies over, um, get back on my grind. So I guess check out my album 8 a.m. on Spotify. Check out my battles memo and verse tracker, and hopefully we'll have some music out by the end of the year.
Nice, sounds good. But yeah, apart from that, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. It's been good to chop it up, and I'll include all the links and stuff for kind of social media pages and whatnot in the description to the video once it drops. But yeah,
Sounds good, man. Hey,
thank you
I
very
really
much, man.
appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
Anytime, man. I appreciate you coming on, and I hope you stay safe over there. Anyway,
For sure, man. Yeah, keep it up. It's dope what you're doing for the culture. So,
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very
all
much.
right, bro.
But yeah, you take care.
You too, man. Thank you.